What we did today, 90 in Portland, 91 over in Troutdale, Vancouver right there at 89, 89 also in Scappoose. So it was just a hot one. 90s were common everywhere inland from the coast, up and down the I-5 corridor, down to the Rogue Valley. 91 in John Day, 90 in Prineville and Bend, 93 in the Dalles. So yes, the 90s were not confined to just the Portland area or Eastern Oregon. They were kind of everywhere, again, inland from the coast. So let's look at those numbers, shall we? It's lots of hot weather records or close to record in Portland this summer. 90-degree days. Today was number 29. That ties 2015 for the second greatest number of 90-degree days. The record still held by 2018 when we had 31 90-degree days. You get the theme here. And as far as the morning lows go, let's not forget that. We had 62 days this year so far, hopefully no more, where the low temperature did not drop out of the 60s. That is a record, blowing away the old record of 55, which was set last year. So again, lots of hot weather records in the last several years here in Portland and around the Northwest. Let's talk about hurricanes though, because Ian is a big one. Now watch on radar. You see the core of the storm right there, just now making landfall in western Cuba. This is Cuban radar, obviously. And you can see the center of the storm there. See that concentric circle of green? That's the entire eye wall being picked up by Doppler radar. That'll cross western Cuba. It really won't disrupt the storm all that much. The land out there is fairly low, and it's not going to stay overland very long. So once it re-emerges over the very warm waters of the Gulf of Mexico, it will re-strengthen some more. Right now, a Category 2 with winds of 110 miles an hour. Stays at 2, and see that? It goes to a 3 right after it emerges from Cuba, becomes a 4, and the latest modeling is it'll weaken back to a 3 at landfall right around Tampa Bay and St. Pete. And again, if this is the exact path, and it may not be, notice the cone here, that's the area we really need to focus on. But if it does go on that path, that's going to be the worst case scenario for Tampa Bay, because the center of the storm very close to the city, and it'll draw all that water right up the bay. So they'll have a massive storm surge along with all the rain and the wind. So they're very concerned in Florida with this, as they should be. Goes right on up through northern Florida and then into the Carolinas, where it'll also produce potentially flooding and damaging rains too. So again, a lot going on with Ian. We already have hurricane warnings up for Tampa Bay area right now. Back to the northwest, you can see the low clouds made some inlands into the coastal valleys this morning. It'll do the same tomorrow, but it's also going to begin to give us a cool down. We'll get up to only 81 tomorrow, not the 90 of today. And then we get to talk about something we haven't talked about much since July, really since June. Rain. Yep, vitamin R back in the forecast. Tomorrow looks pretty good. We'll have lots of sunshine, but here comes the rain Wednesday and into Thursday as that low pressure area moves on in, and then it clears out in time for another great weekend. So the question I'm getting is, how much rain will we get? And you know what? It's interesting, because some of the modeling we're saying, hey, we're going to get about an inch of rain. I'm like, okay, pump the brakes on that. But this is a different model, a high resolution model, also showing near 1 inch amounts in the Portland area and up in the Coast Range. So I'm thinking 1/3 to 1/2 inch is probably most likely for the 2-day period, but we'll have to wait and see. It could be more than that. So here's the system that comes on in, brings us the rain, sweet rain. Then the weekend will also be great, warm and sunny. Then after that, we'll have to wait a while again, I think, for more rain. But it's 66 outside right now, freezing level of 14,400 feet. Tomorrow, sunshine, cooler, high of about 81. So again, that'll be more pleasant for many people. Then we barely make it out of the 60s on Wednesday and Thursday with the rain. And then we just jump right back into the 80s for Friday and the weekend. So that first weekend of October is looking great.